Okay, again, good afternoon. My name is Craig Balbin, and I'm on the public outreach team for the Southern First Aqueduct Facilities Improvement Project. It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce you to my colleagues from the Water Authority who are here to share information and answer your questions. With me to share background and highlights of the project are Emma Ward McNally, Construction Manager, and Grace Sevilla, Public Affairs Supervisor. We also have panelists from the Water Authority's engineering department who play a critical role on the project and are standing by to help answer questions. Valerie Airy is joining us. She's a principal construction manager. And Carla Sanchez is a senior engineer technician on the construction team. Please note that we are recording today's meeting and it will be posted on the project website along with a transcript of the Q&A. All attendee microphones are muted, but you are encouraged to enter any questions via the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. We will get to your questions after the formal presentation. Now I'd like to kick things off with a little background and then turn it over to Emma and then Grace to provide additional details. The San Diego County Water Authority is a public agency responsible for providing a safe, reliable water supply to the San Diego region. We operate and maintain a water delivery system that stretches from the Riverside County line in the north all the way down to the southern border with Mexico. Our robust asset management division continually monitors the condition of our 300 plus miles of large diameter pipelines. We do this to identify potential weaknesses that can result in costly emergency repairs. It's one of the essential ways we manage the reliability and safety of our water delivery system to keep the taps flowing county-wide. The Southern First Aqueduct Facilities Improvement Project involves two large diameter parallel pipelines that were constructed in the late 1940s and 1950s. Today, after decades of safe operations, the First Aqueduct continues to be a vital part of the regional water delivery system. The goal of this specific project is to extend the life of that vital infrastructure. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Emma to share more specifics about this project. Emma?
Thanks, Craig. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Emma Ward McNally, the construction manager for this project with the Water Authority. Our project involves performing upgrades and rehabilitation on two large 48-inch diameter pipelines named Pipeline 1 and Pipeline 2. During the course of the project, each pipeline will be shut down, inspected, and rehabilitated separately, and this way, we can ensure that there's always one pipeline in service and there will be no interruption to water deliveries. The work that you will be able to see above ground will involve upgrades to our pipeline structures. These structures are small concrete vaults that house entry points and mechanical components that help keep the water flowing through our pipelines. Our project is rehabilitating 99 structures in total and spans 21 miles across Escondido, Rancho Bernardo, Poway, and ends just outside of the San Vicente Reservoir and Lakeside. Here in Escondido, we'll have 41 separate work sites. So after being in service for over 70 years, our pipelines and their associated infrastructure need proactive upgrades to extend their service life for another 50 years. With large-scale regional infrastructure, it's important to perform upgrades before problems occur that could cause disruptions in service or a break line in our pipeline that could cause severe damage. And to put it in perspective, just like your home water heaters and faucets need maintenance every so often, the same is true with our water infrastructure that has been in service for decades. In order to determine when it is time to perform any of these repairs or upgrades, we use the latest inspection technologies to detect potential problems, including electromagnetic scanning, robotic inspections, and acoustic fiber optics. By prioritizing and planning for needed improvements before they become larger, more urgent repairs, we reduce the overall cost of system maintenance while ensuring the safety of our water supply and keeping the water flowing. Construction on our project began earlier this year and will continue through summer of 2026. We started with Pipeline 2 structures earlier this spring, and the work on Pipeline 1 will continue until next spring, 2025. Then we'll jump on over to Pipeline 1, and that work will run through summer of 2026. During the first phase of this project, we'll be working on 19 structures on Pipeline 2 within Escondido. Then next spring, we'll transition to the second phase of the project, where we'll be working on Pipeline 1 structures. On the map on this slide, you can see where we've delineated Pipeline 1 and Pipeline 2, marked it with these blue lines, and our work locations are marked by orange dots. You may notice that most of the Pipeline 1 and Pipeline 2 structures are paired near each other. So as you see crews working on structures this year, you can typically expect to see them return to the same areas next year to work on Pipeline 1. As Craig mentioned earlier, these large 48-inch diameter pipelines were constructed in the late 40s and 50s. Since then, our communities have grown, and we now have many streets and neighborhoods that have been built above our pipelines. This means that we have some areas where we will need to divert traffic around our work sites. Sites with traffic control are shown on the left of the slide in bold. The majority of the traffic impacts will involve shoulder or single lane closures for up to 6 weeks. Traffic control measures such as flaggers and digital signs will be used to maintain the flow of traffic at these areas. Work will occur at Cleveland Avenue and Conway Drive in 2024, and at Harding Street and East Lincoln Avenue in both 2024 and 2025. Harding Street north of the Escondido Creek will also have work in 2024 and 2025, and this site will have our longest duration and biggest traffic impact, and I'll go into it in more detail on the next slide. Work will occur at Harding Street and East Valley Parkway in 2025, Boyle Avenue and Queenston Drive in 2024, Boyle Avenue and McLean Street in 2025, and Boyle Avenue and Destree Road in 2024. So here we have our biggest impact to traffic in Escondido, and these are the structures located at Harding Avenue north of Escondido Creek. The work zone, shown in yellow, will require the closure of the southbound lanes of the portion of Harding Street that crosses over the creek from December of 2024 through August 2025. Work will take place between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., but traffic control will remain in place 24 hours a day. Changeable message signs will limit traffic to northbound only, shown by the green arrow, and southbound traffic will be detoured around North Ash Street and North Rose Street. The red symbol shows where southbound access to Harding will be blocked at Washington Avenue. As we move south into central Escondido, you can see again that the majority of our structures are paired across Pipeline 1 and Pipeline 2. We do have a couple of traffic impacted sites on Bear Valley Parkway, but these will only require a single lane closure and will be spaced about a year apart. Work will occur at Bear Valley Parkway and Idaho Street in 2024, and work will occur at Bear Valley Parkway and San Pasqual Valley Road in 2025. Work will occur at Summit Drive north of Mary Lane in 2025. As I mentioned earlier, our project extends all the way to the San Vicente Reservoir, but this slide shows the end of our work in Escondido. Work at the corner of Summit Drive and Mary Lane has already been completed. Work will occur at Mary Lane and Bose Hill Court in 2024, and work will occur at Mary Lane and Orangewood Drive in 2025. Now to give you a little background of what you can expect to see during construction, the work at each site will vary, but typically includes clearing the area, excavating, saw cutting the walls of the existing structures, and welding. Likewise, impacts will vary by location, but typical activities include construction crews on site, heavy machinery with backup beepers, temporary staging of construction equipment, and noise and dust. Work is planned to take place Monday to Friday and select Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Safety is incredibly important with construction of this scale, and construction mitigation measures will be implemented for high impact areas. The contractor's safety program is designed to comply with all federal and state occupational safety and health standards. Construction safety measures for the public include fencing and digital and static signage. We'll also have environmental monitoring to ensure compliance with all environmental regulations. Now I'll turn it back to Craig to tell you about how we can learn more about work sites near your address.
Great. Thank you, Emma. You can find work locations near your home or work address by using the interactive map available on the project webpage. It shows all the planned work sites in each community. To start a search, type your address into the search box or choose Use Current Location. This will automatically zoom in to show the work sites near that address. By zooming in and out, you can see different details. The star symbols represent construction sites. Clicking on any star will pull up more information on that specific site. That information is also displayed in the left side navigation window. The two pipelines are represented by parallel yellow lines. Along the pipelines, yellow shaded circles represent areas near construction sites. Now I'll turn it over to Grace Sevilla to tell you about our public outreach efforts.
Thank you, Craig. The Water Authority is committed to keeping the public informed, and we're sharing information on the project in a number of ways. Postcards have been mailed to residents and businesses within 100 feet of work sites along the project corridor. Project newsletters are also being sent via email every few months. Our website is also a great source of information. In addition to the interactive map, an overview of the project, construction timeline, and important notices can be found on our project website at www.sdcwa.org/first-aqueduct. The website includes links to our presentation slides, fact sheets, and answers to frequently asked questions. All of the information is available in both English and Spanish, and you can download or check on this at any time.
Thanks, Grace. Now we'll move into the Q&A portion of the meeting. As a reminder, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to type and submit your questions. If you happen to be calling in today on a phone, dial *9 if you would like to ask a question. You will be called on, and when you are, dial *6 to unmute your phone. As we take a brief pause to await any questions that folks may have, I do have a question for you, Emma. I don't believe this was covered as part of the presentation, but can you explain to folks if there is any 24-hour or nighttime work that's planned as part of the project?
Hi, Craig. Thanks for the question. Yes, in Escondido, we do have night work planned for one site that is at Harding Street and East Valley Parkway. It should only be in effect for 3 to 4 weeks, and work will take place between 5 p.m. and 7 a.m. at that location.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions coming in. I'm going to move on to the next slide here. If folks do have a question, please feel free to ask it in the chat and we will get to it. So if you missed the Spanish interpretation of today's presentation, a Spanish version will be posted on the website after this meeting. Again, we invite you to stay informed by signing up to receive project updates via email. You will find the sign-up link by scanning the QR code shown here. Questions and comments can be left on our project phone line at 877-682-9283, extension 7004, or sent via email to firstaqueduct@sdcwa.org. And we do have a question that's come in, and I am going to ask Grace to come off mute and turn her camera on. The question has to do with outreach and placing door hangers on impacted businesses and residents. And this person was curious if we will be doing that. Is there anything else you would like to explain as far as outreach goes in response to that question?
Yeah, thanks so much for the question. So at this point, we have sent mailers, so that's regular US mail, to all businesses and residents within 1,000 feet of work sites. Because we do have a large major work site where we'll be active starting this December, we will be sending additional notices that will either be the form of mail, door hanger, something like that for the businesses in that area. We're also doing additional meetings with resident groups.
Great. Thank you, Grace. One more question that came in. And I think, Emma, this one goes to you. Can you talk a little more about what upgrades exactly are being done? I don't know if there's a couple specific work sites that maybe you can refer to in Escondido about what's being done there. But that was their question.
Yeah, definitely. So, as we mentioned in the presentation, these pipelines are about 70 years old. Pipeline 1 was installed in 1947. Pipeline 2 was finished in 1954. And we just haven't had the need to do any substantial upgrades to the pipeline structures since then. But a lot of the different mechanical components within the structures are reaching the end of their service life. We need to do some rehabilitation work with the actual connection points within the structures to our pipeline. So we're doing work to upgrade the nozzles that are going into the pipeline. We're replacing the mechanical, all of the internal components of the structure. In most cases, we are actually demolishing the existing concrete structure walls and down to the piping casement and putting in a new concrete structure that'll accommodate the new piping as well as OSHA mandated workspaces.
Great. Thank you for that additional detail, Emma. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you all for joining us for this virtual presentation about the Southern First Aqueduct Facilities Improvement Project.